out of focus, don't have the mic on, all sorts of stuff is happening. I've crashed 3 times trying to go live for the past 20 minutes. So hold on tight, kids. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a barn burner. I am really scattered at the moment. So let's call a spade a spade. I'm really scattered at the moment. I am Matt Stagliano. I am Generator Podcast and Stone Tree Creative. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. This is Generator Live, kind of the solo flying by the seat of my pants edition. And I am having one of those weeks. I don't know about you, man, but I am sitting here, and if you see me distracted, I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to get everything working. The reason being, Ecamm, as you know, I've been testing their beta software, and this is great because I'm streaming both horizontally and vertically. Now, it's been working phenomenally. And what I'm about to tell you is what you should never do. What you should never do is update a software and then just try to go live. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Beta software is beta software for a reason, right? There are things that are going to break. There are bugs in the system. Things are just going to go haywire. It's the way that things are. But you get in and you get to test some cool new features. Well, Ecamm released a brand new version of their beta with a ton of great new features already there. And I decided that I would test it 5 minutes before we went live here. And guess what? It messed some things up for me. I'm not saying it'll mess up things up for you, but I just had to turn some things on and off, get everything situated again, change some speeds, change some sizes. Now we're back rocking and rolling. So I'm so glad you guys are here. And look at this. I'm going to try something because I've been playing with all these different scenes, right? So we're going to try this and see, we got lower thirds that are popping up. We got things that shouldn't be there. We got placeholders that shouldn't be there. These things are really odd, but I can add Whitney in. Hi, Whitney. What's happening? And what's going on over here? And Laser Tech 2, what could possibly go wrong, right? So thank you guys for just kind of hanging out and bearing with me on all this. So in my ascent, my rapid ascent to internet stardom, right, that you're along for this ride. In my rapid ascent, things are going to go wrong, and you're going to see every blemish along the way because that's how we learn, right? So this is what we're doing. Now, I am way high. So, all right, we've gotten the stuff out of the way. Let's get into what I'm actually here to talk about. So, and Heidi jumped in. Hi, Heidi. How are you? Good to see you. All right. So outside of kind of Mercury being in Gatorade this week or whatever is happening planetarily, let's talk about some of the really cool stuff that's going on. Now, you've heard me talk about this before. Business has been slow, and that's perfectly fine. But what it's allowed me to do is shore up a lot of other parts of my business that I've kind of let slide for the past couple of years. Things like certain automations, keeping my website updated, so on and so forth. So I've been trying to take this downtime and really focus on creating all the stuff that's been on my to-do list and finally starting to cross things off. One of those things has been my website, my photography website for Stone Tree Creative. Now, the thing about this website is I built the original back when I started Stone Tree. I think it was 2017, 2018. I built the original myself in WordPress, and it was just kludgy at best. I was piecing things together. I'm not a graphic designer. We've established this. This is a well-known fact. But I built the site, and it was fine. It got me inquiries and all that sort of stuff. But I wanted something more cohesive. So I outsourced the build to a European company that I paid several $1,000s to build me a new website prior to WPPI. I think it was 2022. So about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, it would be 4 years ago at this point. And so paid them all this money. It was supposed to go live the day before WPPI, went live, it was all screwed up, and I wound up fixing things along the way, just fixing it myself because I'd gotten tired of working with them. So I started fixing things along the way, and over the years, because they had done so many proprietary things that I wouldn't normally have done as a web developer, they did so many proprietary things, I had to basically reverse engineer the website that they built for me because they gave me no documentation. They basically cut and run after everything was built. So I had to do it all myself. Now, I screwed it up time and time and time again, and things were just not consistent looking. They were breaking and whatnot, and it's really bothered me for the past several years. Now, again, I'm still getting inquiries. The website functionally worked fine. I just hated the way it looked and it needed to be updated. So this past weekend, I decided to sit and I went through and did my entire website top to bottom. Got rid of pages, put images up, made sure everything was looking consistent and feeling consistent and that all the forms were updated. I took a lot of stuff off the website. I redesigned my business, put everything on here, redesigned my offerings. And essentially what I'm saying, if you want to check it out, go to stonetreecreative.com and you'll see how I set everything up, what I'm doing, and how I'm basing my business now, which is the unfiltered experience, professional portraits, signature portraits, and then commercial work. So really 4 main areas instead of fine art and personal branding and headshots and regular portraits and fine art portraits and intimate portraits and all of these different things, which is fine for SEO, but it gets confusing for the client. And you got to remember that we are not the client. The client wants information easily and quickly. And so I wanted to give that experience to people as they looked at the website. So really what you're seeing is not a ton that's new, but it is hopefully looking better and more consistent. So as we go through the navigation, I've got my gallery in here, which is fine. I've got some, my about me and about the studio tour, the one that I did with the portrait system years ago. You can watch the entire studio tour there. Forgive my poor fashion choices, but it is what it is. And then I've got my mentoring and education, so you can come down here and check things out. You can go to the podcast, you can check out the blog. And one thing that I used to have on the blog was all of the generator episodes. But since I built the generator website the week before last, all of that is now over on the Generator podcast site, and that's perfectly fine. So do me a favor and kind of go through, if you would, and check some of these things out. I won't put up some of the intimate stuff, but basically, if you can go through, see if there are any problems. Check it out. Find some bugs, right? I did all of this in a weekend. I can't say that I got it all right. I am not a web developer and I'm not a graphic designer, but I know a thing or two about a thing or two. So I did all this. So check it out and let me know what you think. All right. Now I am going to check in the comments and see what's going on. And we've got, let's see. Oh, Kelly, hey, what's happening? I'm so glad you're here. Glad you're tuned in. This makes my heart happy. And then Whitney, no worries whatsoever. I will see you in 2 weeks. I cannot wait to see you. And quite frankly, and this goes for anybody that's going out to WPPI, if you see me in the hallway and I don't look you in the eye, I'm not avoiding you. I just don't recognize you. Right? We're all changing a little bit, and it's been a year since we've seen each other. Whitney, I know what you look like. But if you happen to see me and I don't wave or run over to you for anybody that's there, super introverted and I'm always in my head. So there's usually a circus going on up here. The stares that I have are vapid and vacuous, and it has nothing to do with you. Just letting you know. So stop me and we'll have a conversation. Not you, Whitney. You can stop me anytime. and I can't wait to see you. All right, fair enough. Now, back to the websites. So if you can check that out, do the bug testing for me, figure out, sign up for email lists or contact me and just say, hey, this is a test. Let me know. That'd be great. It'd be awesome to hear from you and get your take on what you see. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? I really want to hear from you on all of this stuff. So, hey, we got Billy's here and Crystal's here. God, everybody, like, really, I'm so flattered that you guys spend a little bit of time here with me. This makes me feel really good. And Billy, we got to have a conversation, you and me. I want to talk about some other stuff, but you're going to come on here at some point. We're going to talk all about what you do because you're fascinating to me. And then, hey, Crystal, I'm glad you're here too. All right. One of the other things that I did, right? I don't know, a lot of you were Gen X like me. So you grew up on Saturday morning cartoons, and there was always one of my favorites, right? Being a little kid in the 70s, 80s, and 90s was the Super Friends. And so I built a little transition as we go between topics, and it looks like this. Super cool, isn't it? But that's the actual sound from the cartoon back in the day, and I just kind of dug the way that it looked. So trying out new things, trying out different types of transitions. And you can see my camera's been doing a weird thing too, where it loses focus. Why? Because I put record albums behind me, and Most Def back here, because it's a face on the album cover, the camera keeps thinking there's someone behind me and focusing on that. So if you see me like keep shifting over, that's what's going on. I'm trying to keep the focus locked in my face. All right. We talked about the websites, but one of the things about being online is we can have a great website. We can have great social media presence, but none of that really builds community. So I've been really focused on this concept of community as I build Generator, because I really do want to bring all of you along with me as this builds. I don't know where this is going, but this is more than a hobby to me, and it's definitely trying to be something larger. The only way I can get there is through community. Now, there's the podcast side of things, which is bringing great guests like all of you on here so that we can have conversations and talk about what it is that you're creating, right? And I'll probably reach out to you directly, or you can always go to the website and figure out a way to, there's an application there. Just shoot me a note just so I have your contact information and I'll let you on. But there's the podcast side of things, but then there's also like the community building side. And one of the things that I've been trying to do a lot more of is newsletters, right? Man, my communication skills, as much as I can talk nonstop on this thing, my communication skills through the written medium are less than stellar. So I've been trying to focus on newsletters, and I've signed up for a membership for like an email marketing system, and I'm learning more and more about sending emails so that I can communicate with all of you. Now, I sent one out a couple of weeks ago just asking people what they wanted to see. I got some responses. I got some great stuff when I sent that out. And then I never did anything with it. So stand by. There'll be some stuff coming later this week. Even so, having that newsletter is a one-way conversation, right? It's between me and you, but it's not building the larger community where we all help each other. So I was on a webinar earlier today with Liz Wilcox, and she had a guest on, and his name was Mike something or other. I don't want to screw it up, but the point is he was talking about building membership sites. And I started thinking about membership sites. And yesterday I was on another webinar with the eCam folks, and they were talking about building community as well. And they were talking about, using a site like Circle or School. But that community, treating community like a product, is a great way to think about building it, because you have to take it seriously. I can't think of you as the audience as just a random collection of people that are always going to show up and that I don't listen to what you're saying and bring you along and bring you in under the fold. So what I'm trying to do is figure out the best way to do this. And the only way I can do it is by asking you directly, what works best in this environment? For example, sure, I'll send out newsletters and I'll send out updates. That's fine. Yes, I'll put out episodes like this on audio on, like all the podcast platforms and YouTube, and I'll do shorts everywhere else. But it doesn't get me teaching you. It doesn't get me transferring a ton of knowledge to you. And the thing that I love best about working in communities and where I work best is brainstorming, getting ideas from other people. I'm part of a video mastermind that's going on for the next year. And it's a very small group, 6 of us in this cohort. And we're really focusing on leveling up all of our content creation skills, how we go about things. It's under eCam. It's the Content Compass. It was an application process, and it's a phenomenal program. I'm really excited to be in it. We're using Slack there. Now, Slack's great. That's fine. Discord is fine. Circle, School, any of these platforms are fine. But I'd really like to know what it is that you want to see, right? So think about this. Sure, I can do these, and I love seeing all of you popping in here. And Nikki Lister popped in, and God, there's so many awesome people here hanging out. And I wish we could have a little bit more conversation. So when I bring a guest on, obviously we can have that conversation. But I want to make sure that I'm not the only one here that is talking, right? You guys all have a voice, and I want to foster a community where we can do that. So what are your feelings these days, right? I'm not necessarily one that loves having another place to go and another login and another password and more notifications and things like that. But I see the appeal in having a one-stop shop that is controlled by me and not Zuckerberg or someone else, where we can have conversations, where I can do webinars, where I can do one-on-one type of instruction, where I can just put out a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily need to go on the social channels, and I can address things in a much more informal and connected fashion. So I'm trying to figure out the best place to go. I absolutely do not want to do it on Facebook. I don't think I should leave it to a comment section in YouTube or Instagram or something like that. I am just on Facebook to answer that. I'm not going to set up a private group on Facebook. It's not where I want to be. It's not where I want to send people. It frustrates the hell out of me. I would rather once a year get together with everybody and do that than go through anything with Facebook. So I'm really looking at what the best platforms are. And I keep coming back to Circle and School. Now, they're just the research that I've done to let you in on this. The thing about Circle is it's less expensive and it's catered to a lot of this conversational stuff. School is more catered towards coursework and, coaches selling courses, that sort of thing. Both have their core niches, but I keep looking at Circle. Now, as a 17 Hats ambassador, we use Circle to communicate with the ambassador group, and it's great. Problem is, any platform like this, any of the community building platforms, can be a graveyard if people aren't using it consistently, right? So it's only as good as the people that get into it. So just not to beat this dead horse, I really just wanted to ask you what you're seeing. So either drop it in the comments, send me a direct message, something. I just want to hear from you what it is that you like to use, where you're having a good experience, or if you have different ideas of what I can do with the newsletter, let me know. Believe me, I'm tied into as many marketing experts and coaches and, top of their game folks right now. And they're all talking about community. They're all talking about this next wave of revolution against AI and the fact that human community is really the place to be. So while I'm building this, let's do it right. So, all right, I'm going to go back to the comments for a second because I can see things coming in. Now, granted, my eyes are horrible these days. So I'm struggling to see the screen. Let's see what we have here. Billy, I thought someone was peeking into a window behind you. I don't know if it's Most Def or Herbie Hancock or Marvin Gaye, but they're all on the wall back there and they're staring at it. It freaks people out. That's not the first time I've heard that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Nikki Lister's here. Hey, my friend, you say you love this plan. I appreciate you saying that. You are pretty cool, though. It's debatable. Okay, we got to vote for Discord. Naya, thank you for letting me know that. And by the way, like your latest videos, I just have to say, I'm loving what you're doing. The one with the reflector in the shade, I watched that the other day. Fantastic. Love how you're doing these things. All right. And then what else did you say here? Cool, because everyone can share a screen if they want and edit together. Yes. So these are the types of things that I really want to get people thinking about. How do we better interact and grow together? And this all ties together in a minute. I'll get to it. And then, all right, Billy, what are you saying? School uses Go High Level. I use Agency of Go High Level and use it for everything in my business. It does make it a challenge to have a platform off the beaten path. You're in my community. You'll hear the crickets. Yeah. So I'm going to throw that back up one more time. And then school does have a huge network and can be an asset to grow. Yeah. All of these platforms. Thank you, Billy, for that. I appreciate the insight on that. Yeah. It's hard getting a community started because there's this flywheel, right, that we have to look at of attracting an audience, engaging the audience, and then maintaining the audience, right? So we have to think about how we do all of those pieces and keep it going and do our other stuff and create content and eventually sleep, things like that. So I'm going to check out a couple of these different communities. I'll be out at WPPI and I'll be talking to a lot of people. This is one of the big things on my mind. So it's not like something I'm putting together this weekend, but it's something that I want to make sure that I'm doing in the right way for us. Edit and chill channel. It's nice to see my friends and body double. Really nice for community. Felt so less alone. And this is what I'm getting at. So Naya, the thing that I faced this year, and I'll come back here, the thing that I faced this year really was the fact that I felt really disconnected from everyone as I was growing this. Now, I'm generally an introverted person anyway, but I had my head down building, and I just felt really disconnected. I don't want that anymore. It doesn't work well for the old noodle. So I'm spending a lot of time trying to connect with as many people as I can, gather information, research, figure out what's working, right? And there's no wrong way to do this. There's no right way to do it either. It's just what fits best. So as we get to know each other, as we start to build this all together, let me know, right? I'll do whatever it takes, but I really want to start to commit to certain platforms so that I'm not feeling so scattered all over the place and just have one home. I think that's going to be YouTube, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. All right. Couple more things, couple more comments. People are flying in here. I love this. Matt is here, my friend. How are you, sir? Good to see you here. Naya, I'm really excited to see you. So if you don't see me right away, I'm going to hunt you down. And then 100%, it's an entirely different project for sure. Yeah, I think the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that as we start to build these channels, there's the element that goes beyond. People think like, oh, I'll just drop a video every now and again. The more that I'm learning, right? Because I've known about YouTube and video since the beginning, but I never really took it seriously. And I'm so far behind the curve in what I thought I knew versus how things are really being done. And that sounds very naive, and I understand that. But technically producing a video, meaning the cameras, the lighting, all that sort of stuff, I have a great handle on. Putting together basic edits, I have a great handle on. Doing all the little things right? Thumbnails, descriptions, tags, number of characters, colors, right? All the things that go into true advertising and marketing, which very few of us are at an expert level at. That's the stuff that I'm trying to learn. And it's like wrapping your mouth around a fire hydrant and open that bad boy up. So learning a lot, just getting inundated with information. And because of my personality, I like to have everything done yesterday. I don't know if that's like you let me know, but I like to have everything done yesterday when I get fixated on it. And I have to start realizing that if I want to do it right, I have to slow down a little bit and make sure that I do it correctly, right? For anybody that does any sort of sport, I do a lot of shooting. Everything has to be smooth. Every repetition has to be perfect for things to get better, for your skill to grow. If you're rushing a shot in golf, or, you're trying to run too hard at the beginning of a marathon, you're going to screw it up. So I'm trying deliberately to take things slow, give it the appropriate thought without overthinking it, and then just moving forward. So very, very cool. A couple more comments coming in. I love all the activity tonight. This is fantastic. YouTube should be your home. Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm thinking. So I produced a video earlier today and recorded it yesterday, did all of the video production on it today, all the titles, all the graphics, all the color, all that sort of stuff. That'll be hopefully launching on Friday, and it's a really cool video. So I'll announce that. And then you'd need a compelling business reason to be somewhere other than YouTube. Just my 2 cents. I agree with you 100%. And the really funny thing is, Matt, that if you had said that to me a year ago, before I went to Creator Camp, I'd have been like, yeah, I believe you. I don't believe you, but I kind of missed that boat. I'm so glad that I'm finally jumping on here. And one of the biggest things that I've found coming out of Creator Camp and embracing YouTube the way I am and going into this like a newbie and just trying to learn how to do everything correctly. The thing that I've learned is that most of the photographers in my circle, high level, very professional, very well-known photographers, are not doing this thing well. There's a handful, obviously, that are, but for the most part, there's a lot of photographers that are freaked out about AI. They're freaked out about the fact that they don't know video. They're freaked out about the fact that they're getting left behind. Now, younger generations, right? The Nayas of the world. This is all bred into you. It's a lot easier for the Gen Xers that kind of remember the world before it moved on to the internet. And what we're trying to do now, there's a big disconnect. And if you say there's not, then God bless you. But for me, there's a big disconnect. And I've been a nerd my entire life. So what I found is that as I talk to a lot of my other photography folks, they don't really get this world. And they don't know what to do. They don't know how to create the content. They certainly don't know how to go live. And I'm making sweeping generalizations here. And I know this, right? There are some people that are obviously doing this. But it's why I started Generator during the pandemic, is because I didn't really see many photographers doing podcasts consistently. Yes, there's a lot of photography podcasts out there. But I was researching a lot of them as I was building, my design for the podcast network. And there's a lot of photography podcasts that just stopped years ago and that had great audiences. Now, things happen. People go in different directions. I get that. But this has been such a wonderful boom for my business and for just feeling creative and being able to deliver good information to good people. I want to give that back to other photographers. So you're going to see a lot more of this coming from me. I think I finally found the lane that I'm supposed to be in, which is that gray area between the technical and the creative in photography and in video, but most importantly, being able to do that generationally, right? I think I can help a lot of people that feel intimidated by this be able to get on and be natural, right? The only thing that does it is reps. The only way you do this is just to get on and just do the thing, right? Right now, I pretend in my brain that I'm talking to one person. I'm talking to Billy, I'm talking to Matt, I'm talking to Naya, I'm talking to Heidi, whoever it might be. That's how I have to think. And I'm talking directly to them. Because if I don't, I get freaked out the fact there's a lot of people here. So, all right, diving back into the comments. Let's see what we get here. Naya, I want to be good at it immediately. That's overwhelming. Too many ads. What you said is exactly how I am. If I'm not good at it on the first try, I get remarkably frustrated. And now it becomes the obsession until I'm good at it. It's crazy. Well, it's not crazy. It's just how my brain works, which is kind of crazy. All right. Who else? Billy is saying, let's see. Marketing is as fun playing in traffic with a blindfold on, and then you learn the most successful marketers are full of. All right. You bring up a really interesting point, but I'm gonna get back to you in a second, Billy. So Naya is saying again, let's see. Cheers to finding your purpose and love, powerful thing. Thanks for all you do. You're man. Thank you. Just thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. All right. So back to Billy's statement where you were talking about, successful marketers are full of dookie, let's call it. I had this same conversation over dinner tonight. I was talking to my girlfriend and basically said, I've been watching all of these webinars from all of these gurus, and they're great at disseminating information at a certain level, right? We have to think about what a lot of these webinars are. They're marketing runs to get people to get a high ticket offer or to get their email address or whatever it might be, sign up for coaching, something. That's generally the intention, right? You give out a little bit of information for free and then you hook them and then you have a marketing channel. The thing that I found that I get frustrated with in watching all of these is that I'm continually and perpetually let down by what I get at the end, which is typically a lot up here and nothing in the weeds. So let me give you an example. A coach might say, I'm going to give you the best way to build community for your niche, right? Since we've been talking about community. And they'll say things like, well, you've got to, attract the audience, then engage the audience. And then you've got to maintain the audience. And you might be able to do that by, going live every now and again. And I'm paraphrasing here. But they don't tell you what tools to use. They don't give you any workflows. They don't tell you, what it might cost in terms of time or learning, right? So an example being, I recorded a video, right? I could very well say, you need to do video for your business and attract people in. All you have to do is produce a video and then, get them on your email list, and now you can engage with them over and over and over, right? What are the steps that are missing in that? The steps that are missing in that are, all right, how do you make a video? What are the best ways to make a video? Should I use my phone? Should I use a camera, right? That's the first step. And these gurus really aren't giving any direct information. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe I know how to do a video. Well, where does it go? What do you do with it? How do you call people to action? If you put a link in your YouTube description, are you doing anything to capture that email address? Are you giving them a free download? Are you capturing the email address? So now you're sending them somewhere else. How do you set that up? What service do you use there? Flowdesk or kit.com or one of the other million that are out there? And then from there, what do you do to market? How often do you send newsletters? And so what I'm getting at is all of these webinars that people are doing are fine. And there are some coaches that do actually get into the weeds. And those are the ones that I really latch onto and that I'm loyal to, because I know that the information that they're giving is relevant and it's applicable. And that's what I want to do. I want to give you guys how to do this stuff. So the video that I made that'll be coming out, and I'm testing it with a couple of people, see if there are any bugs in it, is what I've been doing lately to edit long form video. Now, I'm not talking about a live like this, which is going to go out to, the podcast channels and it'll be on YouTube in its full form. But what I want to do is get some shorts from this so that people can pull the viral moments. Viral. So what I did is I came up with a prompt. I use Claude quite a bit. And I came up with a prompt that I use that helps me identify in the long form content the narrative, the story arc, and then why the narrative works. So the video shows you, all right, well, here's what you do. You take all your footage, you put it in your editor like Final Cut or Premiere, DaVinci, whatnot, lay it all out. Then you export the audio. You take that audio and then you transcribe it. And then from that transcription, you put that into Claude. Claude gives you time-stamped points from your linear edit of where all the best moments are. So you can go back and take those moments and piece it together. And now you've got a great, already tested viral video. The reason that I like this is that I don't like paying for all these subscriptions. And I subscribe to a lot of stuff. And Opus Clip is great, but I find that when I send things to Opus Clip to get shorts and to do my captions and all that, that it just kind of gets it wrong. So instead of fighting with that, I was like, why don't I do it myself and use the same type of engines that they're using and use the skill that I have and make my own stuff. And that way I can make it any length that I want and I don't have to fight with their system and I can do it all on my machine and get several that really work the way I want. It gives me the control of the edit that I want. So that's what I did. And I got to tell you, it came out pretty cool, but it's the density of the information. And I'm kind of patting myself on the back here because this is the type of info that I want out there, right? The thing that I love on YouTube is watching educational videos that step-by-step walk you through a process. That could be a 5-minute video. That can be a 3-hour video if it gets real deep. But I love watching that kind of stuff because I feel like it just gives you more. So that's the kind of videos that I'm trying to make. You'll see that come out in the next couple of days. And let me know what you think about that too. If you do any of the video editing yourself, if you use this system, even if it gives you ideas of what to do, use Opus, use all that other stuff, but understand how to build a narrative and a story arc. And that's exactly what this is going to give you. All right, I'm going to go someplace else. Let's see what Billy's saying. And it's a blanket statement. I realize is not everyone. Yeah, I'm like sweeping generalization, man, right? I'm going to talk and blanket everybody. But I mean, come on, take it with a grain of salt. There are outliers. There are people that are doing things really, really well. And I have a whole list of people that I follow religiously because they're really good at this. So this is the direction that I'm heading. Building community, giving info that is worth a shit. Because I'm really tired of just I feel like I get grifted. It doesn't cost me anything except for time. But I get this weird feeling like, really, this is the product that you're putting out? So my hope is that by just creating some better content in this arena for all of you, that you'll feel better about creating, that it will break down some of the barriers that you might have. And the best way to do that is to tell me what it is that you need. Talk to me. Tell me, I need help really figuring out what camera to use. I really need to figure out my lighting, or how do I get the most out of AI, just in terms of descriptions. And if you don't want to use AI, that's perfectly fine. I can talk to you about all sorts of stuff, because up until about 6 or 7 months ago, I wasn't using AI that heavily and I was still doing all this stuff. So, I just look for ways to make my life easier. Okay. So that's, the community stuff, the website stuff, the marketers, all of that. I wanted to start there because I felt like those have been weighing heavily on my mind. And I wanted to get your take. Let's do this. Let's switch to a topic. So I'll be heading out to WPPI in about a week and a half. Super excited. I'll be doing Generator Live on stage. If you happen to be heading out there, it's March 2nd, which is the Tuesday at 3:15 p.m. local time. And I am going to bring up on stage my good friend, Josh Beaton. Now, Josh Beaton is a Chicago-based photographer known best for his editorial style and his project Tween Esteem, which helps teenagers build their own self-esteem through portraiture. And it's an amazing project. It's a full nonprofit that he runs with his wife. And Josh is a good human. And so when he and I last chatted, it was just before WPPI last year. And we had a great conversation. I think it's episode 39. Silly that I remember them, but episode 39 of Generator. Go listen to it because it's a lot of fun. And I can't wait to catch up with him because when he was at WPPI last year, he was heading into the competition. He didn't know how he'd do, and he wound up winning categories and just had an amazing run. Like, he won If there was someone that won WPPI, it was Josh Beaton last year. So I wanted to bring him on and just get caught up. It's only going to be a 45-minute show, so it'll be a little bit shorter, but I really do want to have some crowd interaction there. So if you happen to be there, come on by, and I'll have some giveaways from Ecamm. I'll have some discounts from all the other sponsors and that sort of stuff. And don't worry, you guys will get them too. But it's going to be a really good time. And after a lot of feedback from people, Josh was where I landed. And, it's really hard when you have so many good friends that would be incredible guests. But where it really came down to was using the time most wisely and following up on a really cool story from last year. And I just thought it would bookend last year's WPPI and this WPPI. So that's what I'm going for. I hope you guys can make it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try. Now, I won't have internet access, but I'm going to try to record it all, try to do a multicam thing while I'm there. But they also have a production staff, so I'm limited by what is going to be going on there. But WPPI, week and a half, and I'm freaking out. Because it's not just going up there and talking to Josh, right? I can do that anywhere. I can do that here. But being on stage at WPPI is giving me a chance to get this message out to a lot more people. Now, I'm not saying I'm packing a stadium here. I'll be lucky if there's 10 of you that are hanging out with me. But that's where it starts, right? And this is what I want to make happen. So that's WPPI. That's coming up. I'm really excited for that. I get out there on Sunday, and then I come home early that Thursday. Got to get home, got to see my dad. So there's a lot that is going to be happening that week. I'm really hoping to capture a lot of it to bring back to you and have a special WPPI wrap-up episode like I do every year. Last year I did it with Mitzi. The year before that I did it with Johnny. And, I think that this year it's going to take on a different tack. Last year I went to WPPI and found a lot of my friends and got a lot of them to be guests on Generator. This year I want to expand beyond the friend circles and start bringing on people that I don't know and really giving you information from a lot of different places. So, for example, Billy on here, I want to bring you on, Doc Rock and Jill from Ecamm. I want to bring on Justice, who's a systems engineer, and he's in a video program with me. There's a lot of people that I think you would be amazed to hear from, right? I want to talk about creativity in all things, not just photography. Just so happened that the past year, most of my guests were photographers. And the last episode before WPPI, which is next week, I'll have the amazing Renee Robin on, and she's going to come on. We're going to talk Boris effects. We're going to talk about a project that we did collaboratively and what she's been up to up there in the Great White North. So I think this is going to be a great year. It's a kind of a pivotal. There goes Mos Def taking my face again. So I think this is going to be a really pivotal year for Generator. Not so much for Stone Tree Creative, but for Generator. I think we have an opportunity. And I keep saying we because I really do believe it's a we. We have an opportunity to grow a smaller community in this space and have it really expand rapidly. I keep thinking like inflation from the Big Bang, right? So I want this to really happen quickly so that we can capitalize on growing a community in the right way and having it be truly community-led, not sponsor-led, right? Not corporate-led. I want it to be led by us. Think about it like we're all kind of hanging out in a hotel lobby having cocktails and just talking. You know how those conversations go. I love that aura. So that's what I want to bring here. All right, a couple more comments. Let's see what's going on in here. Oh boy, he came in. Hopping in now. Good to see you, buddy. And I can't wait to see you. It's going to be a blast. You have to bring the dad jokes. You're the funny guy. I'm the straight man. We all know this. Boring people to tears for years. That's basically who I am. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for giving me your time. I really appreciate that. Let's see who's here. Unquestionable is up in here. I can see your comment. I can't put it on screen for some reason. I don't know why. You're going to rock it. I can't wait to see it. The message is so important. Proud of you and thankful. Oh, man, stop sending me compliments. You're going to make me cry on YouTube, and we can't have that yet. You have all the courage in the world. The world is at your feet. It's yours to dominate. So I can't wait to see what you do. All right. As I look at my run of show, and yes, I do this run of show so that I know what topics to talk about so that I don't go off script too much. So I've got all my stuff here. What should we talk about? We did the websites. We talked about that beaten guy. We talked about the video stuff and the websites. Oh, yeah. A couple more things. So if you hadn't seen it, let's do this again, right? So if you haven't seen it, I've been running 30 days of better podcast interview skills on Instagram and YouTube. Now, this started off as like a little project. Pat Flynn put out a challenge to do a 30-day video challenge. And every day you were supposed to record a video, not really think about it, record it on your phone and post it to YouTube and Instagram, right? This is the habit building to get you out of your own head, get out of the way, and just make some content that is real for you, right? And he's got a flywheel system that I really believe in. I like Pat Flynn a lot. So the thing that I was trying to do with the podcast skills series was say, all right, you're going to start a podcast because you think this is what I'll need to do. I got a lot of things to talk about. I want to talk about my business. I want to talk about VHS tapes, whatever it is. I want to start that this year, but I really don't know how. Well, what happens is people buy the gear and they buy the domain or they set up their podcast, but they've never really invested in the skill of interpersonal communication, of understanding what it's like to lead an interview. Now, if you're doing a solo podcast like this, all you need is a ton of caffeine and an unhinged brain, and you can just rattle on, right? We've got CNN, we've got Fox News. You look at both of them, you got people that are unhinged on there just spouting off, right? So you don't need a lot to do a solo podcast. You just need a little bit of energy and hopefully content that people will be interested in. But when you're doing an interview style, and this is what I really, that bugs me about a lot of podcasts where people are just sitting there talking. There's no form, there's no structure. It's very much off the top, which is fine, but it always devolves into like inside jokes and hot takes. And that's not the type of information that I personally want to put out, right? I can ramble on like this all the time, but when I'm doing an interview, I want to be able to make sure that people in the audience are getting what they want, Sometimes I'm good at this, sometimes I'm not. But what I've been trying to do is make sure that people understand that there's a lot more that goes into interviewing than you might think. So putting out all these short snippets was just a way to put out 30 days of videos and give you guys a series to see what works and what doesn't. And I'd love to know if there's a favorite tip in the 30. All you have to do is go to YouTube, go to my playlists under the Generator Podcast channel, and they're all right there. I think we're on day 27 or 26 or something like that at this point. Go in there, watch a couple of them, let me know which one was your favorite. I'd really like to know that, because as I look at the analytics, which is really what a lot of this was for me to understand what happens when I post a video every single day in a series. And then what does that do for me in terms of followers, in terms of views, in terms of watch hours? This is a big experiment. So I put it out, and it's been fascinating to watch because they're basically all going out at the same time on all the channels, and some of them get 2 views, some of them get 500. What I find is when people interact with them, they get more views because YouTube's like, hey, someone else is interested in this. Let me send it to more people. So when you see a video, not necessarily of mine, of anybody's that you know, if you heart, if you comment, if you like, you're helping them more than you know. But if you just watch it and kind of go by, then no one's getting helped here. So if you really do want to help people, especially your creative friends, leave a comment. Comments are the best thing, right? Likes, shares are great. Share it. Share it with yourself. Press the share button, fool the algorithm. Don't send it to anybody. Just do the things that teach the systems that your creative friends have something of value, right? So I did this series. It's going okay. I don't know if I do another 30-day series, but I like the concept of multi-part series in videos. So I'm thinking about some of my longer form content where I can break it into smaller segments. Perfect example being, a couple of years ago, I recorded a 40 or 50 module podcast course. Ridiculous. I had the whole thing recorded. I had it all set and ready to go. I even put it on a platform that I had built. And then I took it all down because I watched it as a client, not with my ego and what I wanted to say. And I watched it as a client, customer, someone that might be downloading that information. And I got bored to tears. So I didn't do anything with it, shut it down, thought, how can I do this better? And I've now developed it into, I think it's 5 or 6. It'll probably wind up being about 7 modules of all of the things that I do in my podcast world. So whether that is preparation, the technical components of all of this, right, which is the gear stuff, which people want to get into, but I'm telling you, gear is not what matters. The elements that I do to market it, thinking about the channels, writing descriptions, doing the marketings, doing thumbnails, thinking about website, thinking about downloads and free, all the stuff that goes into it. It's a full-time job. And it's only my part-time job, if that makes sense. So go check out that series. I live for feedback, good or bad. Doesn't matter to me. Believe me, there's been some bad feedback. People have sent me all sorts of great comments. But I don't care. I'm just trying to put stuff out, see what works for me, what feels good for me to put out. When I feel good about a video, when I feel good about the content that I put out, it takes on a different energy. I don't look at it and cringe. And believe me, there are videos that I have out there that I'm not taking down because I did them. That's me. The warts are out there. If it's someday I get a PR agency or a marketing agency that says, hey, dude, we got to take some of these down, then I'll listen to them. But at this point, it's too much effort. I just rather let it live out there. Let people be entertained because none of this stuff bothers me. All right. So thinking about how we are here, I'm wrapping up about 55 minutes in. You guys have been incredible here. If you got anything left to say about anything that I've said here tonight, start pouring it in the comments and I'll go back and revisit all that, see if there's anything that I can answer for you guys. But the last thing that I wanted to talk about, because I made a story about this earlier today, was time management and getting distracted. And I start down one path and then I go down another path and then I get squirrel brain and I'm all over the place. I know a lot of you deal with the same thing. I know a lot of you have ADHD or some level of neurodivergency, and organization and time management is sometimes difficult, let's say. I'd love to know some techniques that you have. Believe me, I'm self-aware enough to know where come on, Mose, cut it out. I'm self-aware enough to know what works and what doesn't for me. I've tried all of the applications out there, the Asanas and Notion, and building my own spreadsheets and using Apple Notes and using legal pads and using journals, and I've done all the things. I built out earlier today, a 12-page content calendar for myself for the podcast so that I can repurpose my content appropriately. And this is something that I've really struggled with, is I'll get, settled on a Monday morning and I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? I've got my to-do list. I bang those out first thing in the morning. But when I have some time, I'm like, all right, I need to plan for the podcast, for the Wednesday night show and for the Friday night show, and we'll write out those topics. But now I've got to write newsletters. But over here is the thing on the website that I need to fix. So let me just fix that. But that leads me down another path to, I need to learn this bit over here before I can do that. But I'm still distracted from the original task that I was supposed to do. You getting this, right? This is where I struggle. So if you have information about good techniques, good books for ADHD or neurodivergency, dealing specifically with these tasks. Now, there's a wonderful woman, Jen Swedeen, who runs Team Get Shit Done, and she deals specifically with this, and she is a great, great coach. I have done a lot of this work as well, but I still struggle. So I'm always looking for new books to read, new places to go, new podcasts to listen to. So if you got something that's worked for you, if you got a methodology that works for you, send it on over. I'll check it out. I feel like I've tried everything at this point and it's just my cross to bear, but I'm going to, ask the crowd here, crowdsource it. What works for you? Let me know. So if you see this, leave it in the comments, send me a message, send me a DM. I'll respond to literally every comment and every email that gets sent. It might not be immediately, but I respond to everything. So if you really do want to talk about this, or, you don't want to put it in a comment, or you want to send me, some criticism, some scathing concern that you have, just send it to me, matt@stonetreecreative.com, or get on any one of the social channels and drop me a note there. So that's it. I didn't have a guest tonight, or was supposed to have Renee tonight instead of next week. But apparently there's some massive windstorm that's been going on up in the Alberta, Canada area, and it delayed flights, and it was just going to be a mess to try to get her on tonight and have a stable signal with all the weather that's going on up there. So we just decided to reschedule for next week. So you got one more solo show out of me. Now, as I look towards the next couple of weeks and wanting to be here for you, Friday morning, we'll talk a little bit more about some of this stuff. And then I really would love to have it be a little bit of a working session. So if you want to show up, hang out with me, have some coffee, have some caffeine, whatever your morning beverage of choice is, come hang out. It's going to be 9:00 right here, same place. And we'll continue this conversation. That will be Friday. Next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Renee Robin will be on, and then I'll do one more morning show on Friday before I take off for WPPI, and we'll just get all my nerves out at that point. I'll probably be an absolute mess, but that's the exciting part of all of this. So anyway, that's it. Guys, it is so amazing that I get to do this and that I get to hang out with all of you. I can't wait to start bringing some of you on for your own episodes of Generator, because I got to tell you, doing something like this and having some viral shorts for yourself, or just even short videos for your own business where you're being interviewed as a subject matter expert, where you're talking about your business, we all need marketing material, and I need guests for the show. So let's start talking. If you're interested, if you can carry a conversation, if you don't get intimidated by me or you don't think I'm a complete asshole, then apply to be a guest. And by apply, meaning send me a note saying, hey, I want to be on the show. So I'm looking forward to this year like no other year. I'm coming out of the gate really hot. Things are changing, but I'm really, really excited. But the best part of all of this is that I get to have you guys hanging out with me while I do it. So thank you again. I appreciate all of you. We'll get this community thing figured out. But for now, have a great night. And I'll see you Friday morning. All right? Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.